Hey, this Major TV. Let's talk. I personally want to talk about the situation with NFAC leader Grandmaster J and his interview with Jessie Lee Peterson. I thought it was very interesting because that's one show I thought Grandmaster J definitely wouldn't do an interview with. But it was very interesting that he did because if you know anything about Jessie Lee Peterson, he's a black conservative, and also a true hardcore Trump fan and supporter. And I believe that Grandmaster J went on it because he wanted to prove a point and also share some real talk about what's going on in fact the black community and why he's doing what he's doing. I haven't been making any videos lately. I have been somewhat busy, but I definitely wanted to get back in the mix because I'm just observing what people are talking about. You know, whether it's Umar at the school, Donald Trump, NFAC, etc., etc., etc. But getting back to what I really wanted to say was the fact that when I observed the interview and I looked at it carefully and watched the whole interview, it was 54 minutes and some seconds. And I really thought Grandmaster J did a great job. I think it was a bit too politically correct and too nonchalant when it came down to certain subject matters. But don't get me wrong, he was checking them and he was definitely going in on him about certain things he was saying, like you guys. Like he was put on the spot with that, as well as interrupting him saying, there's two black men having a conversation, let's talk. I think that outside the criticism from the latest members that's been quitting left NFAC or been let go, outside a lot of these podcasts and white militia groups, blacks and others that have been commenting and saying things about Grandmaster J, I think, from my personal opinion, I believe he's still doing pretty good. I am concerned because I know you're gonna have naysayers and people that talk negative about him, but he definitely need to clean house of any nonsense, as well as work on him as far as the way how he come over people. You know what I'm saying? I understand that he made mention in an interview about guys being raised by a single mom and having more female type of ways of being emotional, what have you. But I still think that he have to use tact and still captivate these brothers. And that's the critique I'm personally saying about him. But overall, I think he really addressed some real issues that affects the black community. And unfortunately, I think Jessie Lee Peterson represents a lot of black conservative people and generally that think the way he think. See, people like Jessie Lee Peterson is so happy just to be ahead and not going through the typical norm that low echelon poor blacks go through. And it's unfortunate that for years the bourgeois, middle class blacks really didn't care too much about what's going on in the community, right? And as a result, there was such a decline because of the massive concentration of suppressing blacks and marginalizing blacks in inner cities that it really hurt us. And for those who was already situated, whether they were doctor, lawyers, or what have you, that had money, that was a presence, removed themselves from the real equation, you know. And as you already know, when the white fleet took place and blacks decided to eventually do their own thing by leaving rural area and coming to the city, what happened? The whites took the jobs from the black community. The police militarized the community. They brought the police in strictly to what? Enforce law in a lawless way. And the government played a major part with it. Police arrest and violence is not an accident. They need to arrest, convict, and send to prison. Why? That's jobs. You won't need any criminal lawyers or criminal prosecutors. You won't need a judge. You won't need prison guards, wardens, and what have you. We have to see the big picture. Politicians tell us one thing. Then you have leaders tell us another thing. When you look at the big old picture, it's a mass movement, a machine. And that is to either marginalize, segregate, and control the black population, especially through prison, or execute them. And when people like myself or anyone, like the Grandmaster J's or whatever, that really speak out, they try to silence them, lock them up, or kill them. Look at the Black Panthers. Black Panthers, outside Nation's line, outside the Marcus Garvey movement, the Nat Turner movement, tried to mobilize the community to stand up, to become more aware culturally, politically, socially, and especially financially. But every time that happened, you know what happened. There was end results. People was killed, was locked up. They still locked up. The value of black life will always be less than any other life, comparable to an animal. Whites will get on TV and act as though it's not a big deal. He was in the wrong. They will find every reason for saying that officer, white person, never killed. But what I admire in the interview with Grandmaster Jay, not to go into detail, I wasn't trying to break down the interview in detail. I just wanted to give kudos to Grandmaster Jay, and not only standing up for the black community, but checking this brother, man, that's representing the whites establishment and not really trying to give them any blame, but just pointing out faults in our community about the lack of men in the family and in black men's lives, and the reason why it is that and other. But he don't want to talk about the government interference with the welfare program and how you have to, in Section 8 program, whereas you can't have a man around or what have you, and you're not able to get this without this going on and whatnot, considering how hard it had been for the black man and how the black man has become a endangered species, whereas, well, we give you the welfare, we give you this, that, and other, but the black man can't be in the home. And with the Section 8, where you got to report all your income, and black people, we already poor, so we report that I have a man, they're going to raise the income. What I did with the predatory lending, they don't want to talk about the predatory lending. I think he need to go at him about the predatory lending, because he act like he don't see the different things that affect. He don't talk about the racial profiling, right? We do have a 4th Amendment constitutional right from unreasonable search and seizures. Black people are racially profiled. where they would be pulled over. It's happened to me a couple times. They would go through all your ish, all your stuff, pull your luggage out, have you sitting, and you might be trying to get somewhere, be at a certain time. They would go through all your stuff to make sure there's nothing that they think is in there. And I told them, I'm cool. No, you can't really. Can I search your vehicle? No, you can't. Put a whole dog out. We seen 9 different hot spots. The dogs them highlights, 9 different hot spots. The dude ain't found nothing. But you know what? It's a saying. I had just bought a Chevy Avalanche where I had a T-tag on it. It was years ago. And he used that bullshit excuse to go through my stuff. To come to find out, he didn't find nothing. At the time, I wasn't thinking about getting this badge and reporting him. I should have. But we are racially profiled. There's been research in reference to different states that have been getting racially profiled with blacks, 5 out of 1 black being pulled over for whatever reason versus whites. Well, you know the majority will be white because they're more in a country population, right? But compared to the 13% of blacks in this country, it's a large percentage. And I don't want to go into all the details, but there's research dealing with that. Half the time, like I pulled over, it wasn't because I was speeding, tail light broke or whatever. I was just pulled over because I was driving black. And when Grandmaster Jay addressed the situation, police violence, and different constitutional violations that's going on, the brother be so on point. I admire you because I'm a legal mind. And I know a lot of people coming from more of a secular or knowing right from wrong, understanding this don't look right, but do come from more of a legal standpoint. And people not even getting it because you know why they're not getting it? Because they're falling for the trick. What's the trick? The trick is we're looking at things face value. We're not looking at the actual incident and the legal ramifications and violations that's being ignored. And that's where I'm at a point whereas I respect him because even when he have created this black militia, which we know they've been having black militias throughout the country, but he had made it national to international. And it became greatly admired as well as greatly hated on. Even within our own black community, because most black people are just happy where they at. And they don't want no backlash or drama because they already know they're in a hateful place where they're not going to be truly accepted, but still, because they can get by, they happy. And I'm talking about from the low. I ain't talking about just the ones who got the money, the bourgeoisie, upper middle class. I'm talking about the ones at the bottom too. So in the inner city, because you become contented with all different little moving factors around you that you don't really even see, that you got whites and foreigners coming and take over your community, like New Orleans. You can't even catch white people in the city of New Orleans because of the fear and all the nonsense and lies they've been told. But now, you got white people walking around, driving, and what have you. And I'm not saying that's such a bad thing. But I'm just saying that one time, they fear black people because of all the racist nonsense they were saying and told about us. So for me, I'm like looking at Grandmaster Jay and like that was a boss move going that show. Because not only did he challenge dude from an intellectual standpoint, Jessie Lee Peterson, but he also exposed the hypocrisy and the hypocritical nonsense come from black conservatives and especially people like him. Because black conservatives, in my opinion, not all of them, most of them, they won't look the other way when there's racism and discrimination going on. Because why? You're looking at black people still making it. We've been making it. But we had to fight for that. The stuff we enjoy as black people, we had to fight for that. White people never just woke up and had an epiphany like, ooh, I'm going to just give black people this. No. We had to fight for it. Sacrifice our lives and put up a lot of bullshit. So, I salute Grandmaster Jay. NFAC is the truth. For all the trolls, I'm definitely entertaining some of y'all. Because I feel like y'all really think there's a lot of pussy in the camp. But nah, man. Y'all been killing us, so we ready. We ready. So I'm not even taking it. And I'm not that dude. I'm going to keep dropping these videos, make you mad, because most of y'all cowards, because y'all even show y'all face. Y'all do the little fake look YouTube stuff and want to make y'all comments. But guess y'all picked the right one. I'm that dude. So kudos to Grandmaster G. I salute, dude. You know what I'm saying? He really standing up, you know what I'm saying? And I just wish that we learn to just get behind him and not be trying to find fault. But those who left him, man, look, still peace, bro. Peace and love. We don't need that. Start your own thing. Don't rely on the one person. He's one man. But he's one man that's not scared. He wouldn't stand up. At the same time, the difference y'all got, we're going to have that. That's what happens in the community. But look, it's about right now the black man, the black woman, the black child. If we don't get it, it's crazy. Like, look, I'm a simple black dude, and my life is pretty alright. But man, I'm fighting for mine. Nobody giving me anything. And nobody won't give you anything. If somebody argue me something, appreciate it. But at the same time, remember, it's a lot of us that's not in a position or able or blessed to be where we at. So we have to help. And if Grandmaster J is that dude, let him be that dude. And whoever it is, it don't have to be Grandmaster J, whoever. We got to sit together. We got to make something happen. Because these white people are very bold, especially under Trump. Can't just take the nonsense, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to give y'all my take. You know, I'm always giving that raw, unapologetic reaction and feelings about things. So, you know, thanks for love. Thanks for all the comments. Thank you for the support. Like, share, subscribe. Get with your boy. This is Major TV. I'm about that life. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Later.